Sometimes we get nicknames in the seminary. I really don't know how I got it, but I got the nickname Two Gun. And I don't know really how I got it, but George Bergen, a very big guy, he said, I think you got it from they were reading a book in the dining room in the old days. And I was reading the book about Wyatt Earp. And so Wyatt Earp was the big law enforcer out west. And St. Joe, Missouri is known for killing the Jesse James, one of the outlaws of the Civil War. So I don't know how I got it, but it's kind of stuck. And like Father Bergen, I don't know if you met him, a very big, tall, large, king size. He got the nickname George, but his name is John. So how he got that, maybe we let George do it. He was a very helpful guy in the seminary, so let George do it, I guess maybe there was a slogan. So he got the nickname George, and his brother said, I gave him the name John. Well, who's calling him, who's George? So George, John and Jim is his brother, who also entered the seminary and is now a priest in the college in Iowa. So he's not as big as George, who's really John. During martial law in the Philippines, I was in Mindoro when martial law was declared. First of all, President Marcos had been elected twice. He was the only Filipino ever elected twice before he declared martial law. During martial law, there was a lot of strictness coming in because of the demonstrations were very popular all around the world, not only in the U.S., but we had 9 colleges and a university, so they were all kind of under fire of demonstration. So the martial law was meant to put the student back in the classroom and off the streets. And so one of our we had security guards around the clock, and one evening, one of the security guards got too much to drink. He was off duty, he was not on duty. But when he had too much to drink, he took one of the shotguns and wandered off the campus outside. And of course, since he was drunk, they didn't know what he might do. And there was a Land Rover coming into the college by one of our Filipino priests. I got on the side of the Land Rover and around, and I saw he was slumped over, the security guard slumped over, and he was actually had passed out. So I got the shotgun and brought him back in. And since they had already reported it to the PC, that's the Philippine Constabulary, like National Guard, they had to take him to the stockade. And I went the next day. I said, first of all, they wanted to make it look like they caught somebody smuggling guns. And I knew it was just got drunk, and he was not a smuggler or anything like that. It was just unfortunate. And he had a family and a wife and children. So I talked to the commander, and he was a very understanding man, and went to someone like that's West Point in the Philippines, and he was a very understanding man. So he released him, but he could not go back to security guard. But he was released. There was no longer any charge of smuggling guns, which would be a feather in the hat of the military to get some smuggler guns to the rebels, which was not true. But he took my word for it and released him. So I thought that was just by chance. I happened to be there and understanding him, and I have an understanding commander of the Philippine Constabulary at that time. I didn't learn the language well, but I learned a lot of idiosyncrasies. One, I mentioned there's about 89 different languages, and 3 major ones are Ilocano, Tagalog, and Visayan. And there's a word for the dolphins, lumba lumba, is the word used, but the word they use is not a Tagalog word, it's a Visayan word. And there is no word in Tagalog for dolphins, so they use a Visayan word. And since I go to the beach, I found that out. They make up a word for dolphins in Tagalog, the national language. And they make it up, baboy nangista, means pigfish, because it's got a blunt nose. But it's a coined word there. Everyone uses lumba lumba, which is not Tagalog, it's not Ilocano, it's Visayan. For people who are older, they have what they call mano po. Mano is Spanish, and they put it to the head, to their head. And they do that to their parents, to teachers, to anyone who's older brother or sister. They call that mano po, a sign of respect. So it's not in words, it's in a gesture. And they put the hand of the one they respect to their forehead. I have a lot of respect for old people. Not only when I became old, but I noticed that when I was first assigned there, that their respect for old people. As a lot of Asian, not just Filipino, but Vietnamese, Chinese, respect for the elderly people. Now I don't know if that's changing over the years, but when I was assigned to St. Louis, Missouri, the Vietnamese, they were also showing a lot of respect, even though I didn't know their language. I knew Kom Un, means thank you, or Chuk Mong Nam Mui, which means Happy New Year. And I can only use that once a year, though. They have their Lunar New Year, the Vietnamese. So I found it somewhat similar about the respect for elderly.